Okay, this is one of our biggest washouts in the road, and as you can see, water is nicely running down. Thunder is also occurring at the moment, so we're going to have a nice storm here pretty quick. It's another washout. And it looks like the storm beat this down a little bit, so it's a little flatter. I could probably drive on this. Another washout. Not much water, and I can step on that, so that's not too bad. And I've heard them working up on the road, leveling out gravel. However, there was no need to work on the road. There's one of our ponds, fully engulfed, and trees are in it right now. So it's much up over the banks. Nice red pond. Wait until that sand settles. We might have a blue pond or a clear pond. And off in the distant there, you can see maybe where the water is standing in the meadow and had washed all the reeds and prairie grass down. Well, I tell you, the mosquitoes are something else out here right now. It's going to be terrible this summer. Oh my goodness, this really washed out this morning. This is all washed down. All the land. The water's still flowing. My goodness. It does create such a beautiful pattern in the sand. Get a nice view of that. Of course, I know to some of you this isn't very interesting, but to those of you who live around me or my family who can't come out here at the time, this is quite interesting to them. There's a nice deer print. So our deer are still here. They're probably enjoying these ponds. They're just wandering all over the place. Deer prints everywhere. Or paws. Beautiful patterns here. Incredible how the water just rushed through. And of course, this is undrivable. Very deep. If we were to drive it, we'd have to stay on this berm right here in the center and pray that it didn't collapse, and I'm just not willing to take that chance right at the moment. As if it did collapse, we'd be high center, and it would take a tow truck to get the van out, or to get the SUV out. Oh, I hear the water running now, and it is coming down fast. Well, it washed across the road. The road is now flooded very well, and as you can see, the water just washed all the reed and prairie grass down completely, and it is coming through here like a waterfall. It's kind of pretty. Be nice if it'd stay, but unfortunately it will go on downstream and we will probably lose it. It is pretty. Oh, those thunderstorms are coming in quick. I can hear the thunder rolling. Now all of this land from this point here all the way across to that point there is completely underwater. It is standing in water. The pond is completely full and overflowing its banks. I would not want to be over there for fear of a nice snake being there. Possibly a rat snake, or a rattlesnake, or a pygmy rattlesnake. Well, it looks as though the water that rushed last night, or this morning, early this morning, I think it began about 5, this did some to help the road a bit. It's not as broken. It's somewhat smoothed out, but we still have some drop-offs, nice long drop-offs, which would make quite for a bumpy ride. Definitely would not want to have any kind of bottom surgery and ride on this road. Oh, another nice pattern. Oh, that's pretty. Stephanie Booth, I'm taking this primarily for you because you love and appreciate patterns, as well as James Dudding. This may be somewhat inspiring. I'll get close-ups here, some pretty patterns, and maybe you can incorporate them into some of your work. I know that I will be. I think this is absolutely beautiful, some of the markings and grooves that the water does. It just creates these beautiful washed away patterns. I'm sure when the water is running through, it creates a beautiful tiny waterfalls within that, rippling down. So I bet that's gorgeous. Okay, and then we're at the beginning of the drive, and my last video I said that we were that we were 1/8 of a mile in, and I have to apologize. We are 1/4 of a mile in. So it looks like I'm going to walk down here, and I'll probably cut this video up a bit. Sorry about the dogs and my neighbor's dogs. And I'll probably cut this video up a little bit so that you can kind of get an idea of what we're dealing with here. My neighbor has a pond in his yard, and it was kind of funny. Right down here, they dug a 10 to 12 foot trench. I don't know whether it was foreseeing the weather or exactly what the trench was for, but it was to, I assume, collect the water. And right here is a crossing, a culvert crossing, and this is our property that goes across here. And what I'm assuming was they were trying to collect the water here to prevent it from crossing over onto our property and flooding it. Well, as you can see, it is full of sand, which washed from the road where the next culvert is, which is uphill to the right, and it washed all the way down here and filled this completely up. and as you can see, sand has just piled and piled and piled up. And right here is the culvert underneath. Right there's the culvert, where the water is going, as you can see, under the culvert. There's a little puppy dog from next door. It's going directly under the culvert and crossing over to my land. And as you can see here, it comes out on this side. Oops, right here. I'm assuming right there. So it's filling up, and down there you can see it coming, actually moving. Well, apparently this didn't work. We got so much rain that all of this washed out across the road, and I assume this is where they were fixing it. Washed all the sand, or all the gravel from the road into the land, which I kind of like. Washed it all the way up. Looks like about 50, 75 feet to wash the gravel about that far into our property. Awesome. So I might have graveled land for a while. And these little bushes are plums, sand plums, and this is what's left of a grove. They have been ripped out and are completely gone. So this is what has happened to my property. All this water has become part of my property now. Or, as I guess I should say, Calvin, Nan, and my property. Because they also are co-owners. So this is really beautiful. But it could be worse. So I'm going to turn this off and head up the secondary roadway that we normally don't use very much here lately, and see how much trees we lost, which I heard falling, and see if Standing Rock is still standing, and what damage took place up there. So I'll start the video again, and I'll put it all together when I get back on the computer. So I'll see you soon. Bye.